Not much, dude. How about you?
Hey man, I'm just vibing, you know the usual. But I had a question for you. Do you shave your delicate area below the waist region? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the twins, the dangle?
yeah,
You do?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, well I'm glad to hear that because today, ladies and gentlemen, the episode is brought to you by Manscaped. And you know what their mission is, baby. Gotta save them. They all matter. They all matter. All right? And the best way to do that is by using Manscaped's awesome new thing, man. This little trimmer right here, the Lawnmower 3.0, has this little light on it.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's like a tech. It's like shaving your, delicate areas, but like the SWAT version right here, man. Because of this, and I'm sure you can attest, you like to see what you're doing down there, right?
Sure, definitely. That lighting should help.
It should, man. But not only is this episode brought to you by Manscaped, we also have a promo code for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you use the promo code MOATS, you'll receive up to 20% off plus free shipping, Deke. 20% off plus free shipping? All you gotta do is use the promo code MOATS. It's right there. It's that simple, baby, at manscaped.com. So don't waste time. Save your balls. We've also seen scenarios where now people are very high on Kyle Trask. Talking about potentially the Steelers. Would they take him at 24 or potentially trade back to later in that first round to take a guy like Kyle Trask? Obviously, we know Ben is coming back on a 1-year voidable years after that. Now, there's still rumblings that it could end up having to be 2 years just because of the cap standpoint, right? But my thing is this. People have been talking about Kyle Trask, and would we like him here in terms of when you watch him, he looks very similar to Big Ben when he was at Miami of Ohio. Big guy, statue, can run. Wait, this is the thing though. People call him a statue. He runs well enough for the quarterback position. He can move just enough.
Oh,
Just enough.
Ben could move his rookie year.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
it's like because everybody assumes like you got to run like Trey Lance, Cam Newton, Josh Allen. It's like no, you don't have to do that to be a good running at quarterback, and he can run good enough. But his deep ball, beautiful deep ball, and obviously we know who he lit it up with down there in terms of Kyle Pitt. I mean, in terms of yeah, I said that right. In terms of
Too many names, huh?
it's way too many names, right? In terms of Pitts and Kadarius Toney. So when I see him, I'm like, what's a Heisman finalist? Looks good on tape. I like him, but am I planning for the future this year? Like, do I want to have that in spot? And then the other thing was they said, do you already have him on the roster in terms of Mason Rudolph?
You know my answer, dude. We can't be doing this. My heart says no.
Mhm.
My mind says no too. My heart, obviously, I
Yeah.
want Big Ben to keep playing for the Steelers.
Mhm.
But mine, you're right, dude. Let's draft a linebacker. Let's draft an
Mhm.
offensive lineman. Let's draft a running back.
Yeah.
Someone that can help us for this year because I think we're going to be in the mix for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think a quarterback would be a waste of a pick.
Well,
I
you're
do
not the
think it
only
would.
one that's looking like Shoot the Rock. I love your name, by the way. Shoot the Rock, shoot it. He says taking a QB first round would be stupid.
Yep.
I'm with you. Let's see
They know what's up.
Let's see. Here we go. Cole Fitzsimmons taking any QB that's not a top 4 guy would be stupid. I agree with that. We don't think Kyle Trask is a top 4. Even though, wait a minute now.
Well, since you watched tape, yeah, what's your
Yeah,
analysis?
because this is my thing. I like Kyle Trask a lot. In fact, this is the thing that I'm torn with. If I'm drafting a quarterback in the first round right now, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, I think they're separate, right? They're in the class by themselves because they have body of work, they have competition that like the competition they win against, all of those things they check the box on. Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. I know people love them.
Whoa, is this a hot take?
I don't want to touch either one of them.
Whoa.
I personally don't. For me,
You like Mac too.
yeah, and so Mac and Kyle Trask I view the same. But now all these mocks, it used to be Mac Jones that was going to be available. Now they have Mac going early.
They had him at
Yeah,
3.
they had him. You know what I mean? So it's like now they have him going where at first they were like, oh, he might not even be in the first round. Remember they were saying, oh, at 24, Mac Jones to the Steelers. So now they have him going early. So now I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm not even going to consider Mac Jones because, yeah, to me, I look at Mac and Kyle Trask very similar, but they're saying that he wouldn't be there. But the reason why I still would take Mac Jones or Kyle Trask over Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, number one with Trey Lance, 1 full season as a redshirt freshman. 1 season. And it was at the 1AA level. That's not a lot of work. That's not a lot of body of work for him. And you were playing at North Dakota State. It's a power. It's just like JMU. It's exactly. You go out here, you're supposed to dominate everybody because we got the best guys out here. That's what it's supposed to look like. Then you have the one game this year against just a mediocre 1A team, and it looked different. That makes me nervous. Zach Wilson, you saw what teams he played against out there. Ah! If you're not beating that, you think like, so you was worried about Holy Cross? What do you think the Baltimore Ravens gonna look like? What do you think? You know what I'm saying? The Buffalo Bills gonna look like? What do you think Tampa Bay gonna look like?
People like that pro day throw.
Yes, and think about this, right? People went crazy with a pro day throw, and we're just like, why would you throw that anyways, right? If this isn't a game, you would never throw that. But I understand the arm strength, I understand the mechanics and all that good stuff. I got you. But we do this every single year. Every single year, we come in here and we crown the next 2 to 3 guys and say, oh, these are franchise quarterbacks. That's going to be the next great one. And think about just throughout the history of the first round draft, right? And all these different quarterbacks that have been taken, how many of them actually become franchise quarterbacks? How many of them actually live up to that moniker?
I'm thinking of the Marino draft. That's the one that comes to mind.
Like, so to me, I'm just like...
You had Elway, and then you had like 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
I think everyone was trying to outthink themselves. They took over Marino.
But the majority of the time, it's the opposite of that. The majority of the time is, that guy's a bust. That guy, he's kind of good, but he's never grew up. He never was great. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't like trying to put those type of expectations on those 2 guys with their body of work. It's not all the body of work. So to bring it full circle, the reason why I say if it's not one of the top 4 guys, the reason why I was like, I don't really agree with the top 4 guys, because they have those guys in there as the top 4 guys. I've seen somewhere they got Justin Fields behind Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. To
like
me,
around
that's
9 or
crazy.
10 now.
Right. So to me, that's crazy. I wouldn't do that. I'm going with the guy that I know. I've seen this. I've seen the competition. That competition is going to be great comparison to what he's going to be facing in the NFL. Not you're going against Colorado Community College State University and y'all barely won or y'all lost. I'm just like, oh, I'm good on that. I don't want that. It's just me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just me.
So you like Mac Jones and Trask?
I do, over those two. I do personally, yes. I just think it's a lot. Now, obviously, those 2 guys have the higher ceiling, though, in terms of Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. They have their ceiling is way higher. But I've just never been I'm going to only get this guy because he's a potential guy. Because we hear potential all the time.
Jay Cutler.
Sam Darnold. We heard it all. You're still here. We hear it a lot. And how many times do we play this game of potential upside, but it never materializes. It never comes to that. And then the guy who we're like, well, he has a high floor, but his ceiling's a little low. He comes and he's like, well, man, this dude actually has a great career right here. He's right on par the whole time. You know exactly what you're getting with this guy. To me, like, even Andy Dalton is a prime example, right? Andy Dalton, never viewed as a great guy, but he's a good NFL quarterback, a guy that's been a Pro Bowl, a guy that you can win with, a guy that's consistent. You know who he is. You didn't have well, man, he got all this potential, Sam. Oh, he got all this potential, this guy over here. He got all this potential, that guy over there. And then you're like, oh, man, he kind of turned out to be Josh Rosen. And not saying that Josh Rosen's a bad quarterback. Now, we know his deal is kind of crazy, but just you get what I'm saying of potential. But we forget where their floor is right now, because that more than likely is going to be what we're looking at year 1, year 2 before they can make that leap. So that's why for me, man, if I'm picking, I'm going with the guys that are more proven, more pro ready right now versus the great upside, but the serious unknowns around them, man.
I got you.
Yeah, man.
But either way, I know you like to troll me about Ben a little bit. With that first round pick, are you with me and some of the people in the comments?
Oh, yeah, I don't want to take a quarterback.
Let's not take a quarterback.
Yeah, we don't need a quarterback. Not at all. I mean, worst case, you want to take a quarterback, we'll get Ian Book in round 6 or 7, right? Out of Notre Dame. He's always available. Anytime I do these little drafts, he's always available. So we'll just take him, and then from there, we're good. Even though I don't think you need a quarterback. I'm not touching a quarterback.
We don't need to.
Yeah, if you're not picking in, like, unless you say, hey, man, I love this guy, and I'm willing to trade up into the top 15, top 10 for a quarterback that might have slipped, I'm not thinking about quarterback right now. The chips are what they are right now, and for this season to matter, for this season to be successful, wasting a pick on a quarterback, I just don't think that helps him right now.
Did I hear you say 2 years, baby?
No, well, the reason I said is depending on how you feel about this guy now. All right? Depending on how you feel about him.
Wait, no, what do you mean? Talking about the Ben contract? That's what I'm talking about? Yeah.
So
two more Ben. Two more years for Ben.
John Clayton, John Clayton, the NFL.
People are ripping on him now.
Well, because this thing. So you remember first he said the 1 year $6 million deal for for Bud. It was like, yeah, he probably come back for 1 year $6 million, at best $8 million coming off the ACL. We saw how wrong he was there. I think this might have been yesterday. He says, well, yeah, I realistically think that Ben's going to be back for not just this year, but the following year. And when you look at some of the salary cap, and I'm like, well, I could definitely see the salary cap that's increasing, but at the same time, like, with certain things, you can maneuver it to make it work for him. So, yeah, I could definitely see them going that right, but just because next year there isn't a great free agency class in terms of quarterbacks. And he was like, right now, in terms of the draft, are the Steelers anticipating picking in the top 5? If you're not picking there, like the chance of you really finding that guy, obviously they go down a little bit. You know what I mean? So that was his whole premise of this thing. He's like, well, that's why I think. Now, that's why I said it depends.
I like what he's saying.
Now, you just said they was ripping on him. Now you calling him smart.
Here's the thing, though. No, they were ripping on him. I don't think they should have been ripping on him. Like, he could get anything he wants wrong, from my standpoint, just because he made that Slayer commercial for ESPN, which is incredible. But yeah, I like what he's saying there. And I agree with it, too. I've been talking about this how many times? Like, I don't think it's a done deal that this is Ben's last year, because next year, all of a sudden, we have a ton of cap space. If Ben wants to keep playing and he balled out, the Steelers want him back. Why wouldn't he take a $20 million deal like what Brady and Breeze have been doing?
That's the big thing.
I don't see why not.
The big premise is, as long as he balls out. If he balls out, it solves itself. We didn't want to talk quarterback a year ago until we saw that, man, all right, it wasn't looking like what we thought it would look like. And it's not even to say that Ben isn't good. It's just the expectation for Ben is greatness. That's what we've become accustomed to with him. So when you fall from greatness and now you're just really good, yeah, people going to look at you and question that. People going to look at you and say, well, is it like that anymore? Should we move on? Not realizing that really good is still better than half this other NFL out here. Like, that's the part that here in Pittsburgh we've been spoiled with. And we're not the only team that's going with it. The Falcons are in a similar situation. They're looking at, oh, well, should we move on from Matty Ice, Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan's a little bit younger than Ben, right? But at the same time, because Matt Ryan is 30.
I don't think by too much.
Yeah, he's like 35. He's 35 or 36. He's in that range.
Yeah, what's Ben? He just turned 39.
Yeah, Ben just turned 39. Yeah.
Ryan's
So it's like
36 or
so
7.
it's not too far off. But he's another one where it's like, you look at what Matt Ryan has done, right? He's taken that team to a Super Bowl. He has a league MVP. He's lit it up down there, right? But even them, they're kind of like, all right, well, do you want to move on from him now? Do you draft this quarterback potentially? You know, where they're picking it in that top 5, top 6 area? Like, do you draft a guy there, or do you ride with Matt Ryan a little bit longer? I personally, I'm like, man, Matt Ryan, even on his bad day, still gonna be better than half these other cats out here. I'm rolling with that for at least another year or two. That's just me.
Yeah, some people have them taking a quarterback, maybe. Yeah. One of these high upside guys, Wilson, Lance.
Right.
That's
crazy.
I don't think anyone. I think you're the first guy to say this.
Now, we'll say this.
I like this.
If they did take one of those guys, and it's the Falcons we're talking about, I like it if it's like Green Bay. Think about Jordan.
I hated that move last year.
What?
I did.
Why?
I wanted them to take like for their case with Rodgers, they should have taken a receiver. In my opinion,
this is my thing. I don't care in terms of if you throw a running back, receiver, O-line. I'm just simply saying, if you're gonna draft the I like the fact that he was able to sit behind him for a year. Understand the preparation. Understand how to be a professional. Understand the difference, because it's night and day from college when you have to be the face of a franchise and lead grown men. It's different. That 18, 19-year-old that you might be talking to, he ain't got no wife and kids. He ain't no grown man making multi-millions looking at you like, man, get out my face. It's different. And for these younger guys, sometimes that's the part that takes a little bit longer for them to adjust to. And just throwing them out there sometimes can be more damning than good for them. So that's why for me, it's like, if you are able to have a franchise guy, which is why I even thought to myself, like, okay, if they would take a quarterback, the Steelers this year, I was like, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because at least he's going to be sitting behind 7. You know what I mean? He's not coming in here to take 7 spot, right? He's coming to sit behind him and learn. But it still seems just redundant, because you got Mason and you have Dwayne Haskins, who's our high-end flyer guy this offseason, you know? So that's the whole thing with it. But if you're the Falcons and you did take quarterback, just let him sit for you. Let him sit. That's how I look at it, baby.
Is that all we got? We got anything else?
I think it is. Let's double, triple check real quick.
Dude, I love the Trask Jones take over Wilson and Lance. No one's saying that.
Well, because this is the thing.
I think you're the first guy.
Because people are looking at it solely from an upside standpoint. If you want upside, okay, great. But I can name you a list of upside guys that never materialized. And that, to me, I don't like that. I don't want to take that chance just for the sake of, well, I got to take a quarterback. We're picking at 6. Let me get this guy. Like, But if you're the Jets, you're handcuffed right now because you got rid of Darnold. So you absolutely have zero choice. The Niners, they're intriguing, but they're still going to take a quarterback.
They have to with that trade.
Absolutely.
Now they're saying they're going to keep Jimmy G.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, I'm just like both of those teams, like, they've handcuffed themselves where they have to hope that these guys come in here and can be the guy day one to materialize. But I just don't think they are going to do it.
Why aren't they trading Jimmy G?
I don't get that either.
They're going to have to. I mean,
unless they go, because
we heard the same thing from the Cardinals whenever. Yeah. Wait, what happened? No, they were just the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And Kingsbury came in. Everyone's like, oh, because of connection with Kyler Murray, they're going to take him. Then they said, no, we're not trading Josh Rosen. I believe in him. They ended up doing it. So, like, I feel like that's still going to be the case with the 49ers.